Hello, hi, welcome. Miss M Vintage on YouTube. Basically, I've been doing a stash down. Well, okay, scrap that. I've been trying to do a no buy, low buy and continue to work out of my stash. But then I keep buying things. So it's basically just me like drowning in stash and beautiful yarn. I'm thrilled to be drowning, let me be clear about that, as I try to continue working through my stash and making more beautiful projects. I'm coming to you from a beautiful hot day. I live on Darug country. Never ceded land, always was, always will be. And I've been making quite a bit in October, but has it been enough? Do you think it's been enough? Do you know me well enough now? Do you think that I have nailed it? Do you think that I've worked out more than I've purchased? Or in my birthday month, did I treat myself? Have a guess. What do you reckon? There's also something different in this month's stash down as well, which I will show you shortly. Let's get into it. Let's have a look at what I've finished in October. There's a nice mix of things. Let's go. The first thing I finished is this beanie. This is a Pearl Soho pattern. At work, I organised a very silly bingo card for the service delivery team, and it was like, M asks you to host trivia, somebody checks the focus rooms that are usually busy, and then they walk away disappointed. It was just silly things that happen in our little pod around the office. And when people were like, what do we win? I said, I'll make you a beanie. And this is that beanie. It's going to live. It's quite nice. I really like the top. This is a super easy, worked in the round 1x1 rib beanie. Done. That used almost an entire ball. And that used up 95 of the 100 grams. Yay! And there was much rejoicing. Beanie. The second thing I finished was yet another crochet hexy cardigan. I bought some stuff from Spotlight. I had like $79 left on a expiring gift card. That's what they're called. Gift card. And this sort of pink acrylic Karen cake, mandala, whatever. I just grabbed it. It's pretty cute. This is apparently the size of like a 1 to 2 year old. I do something a bit sketchy because I think the arms are a bit bulky. So I do a really terrible winging it decrease down in here over the top of the arm seam. This one used up 100 grams of the 200 gram ball. So half that ball went into this. So of course I made a beanie. I don't really know if it matches in two ways. One, colour. Even though it's all come from the same ball, it's very, I don't know, it's just sort of not super matchy with this. And also this size, I got gauge, but this looks massive for a 1 to 2 year old's head. Do they not wear them tight on their head and they need to be a bit loose? Anyway, it starts off with double crochets, moves into a granny stitch and finishes with a through the back loop single crochet. So yeah, these sort of apparently go together, but do they really? This used up 25 grams. I continued on with a good thing and I made 2 more 20 centimetre, like 18 centimetre solid granny squares. Here, these 2 corners is actually all that was left of this beanie. That's where it went. Anyway, so does it look like all of these things came from the same ball? I don't know if it sort of does, but it sort of doesn't. It got very purple towards the end. Both of those, these were another 25 grams. That is the total 200 grams purchased in, fully worked up across these pieces. So these squares go up here with this very scrappy My last fibre project was actually finishing these socks. These were a test knit for fibre bound. These are the Ceroto socks or Ceroto socks, depending on where your emphasis wants to be, in a beautiful colourway yarn called Hay Fever by Maximu Yarns. I bought this yarn at Bendigo this year. It's a very simple stitch pattern, sort of a basket weave. I did a twisted German cast on, which I really enjoyed for socks that I've knit my folks, but I find it still too stiff to get over my own feet. I don't know what that's about. Slip stitch heel, gusset construction. I do a wedge toe. The next time I do a wedge toe, actually, I think I might change this down to 10 stitches so there's a little bit more width. Just see if that, I mean, it's comfy either way because I've got a very narrow toe box. But I may as well just mix it up, see how I feel. I knit this to 8 inches. So it's 8 inches from the heel. Well, I mean, you knit it this way, but you know what I mean. From the cast on to the heel. I do like a long sock that I can kind of scrunch a little bit. So this was from a 100 gram skein, and these used 84 grams. And this is all I've got left of that one. That's it. Yay! And that's it for the knitting. But I did finally make a finished thing that was sewn. I know, hold your applause till the end, right? Anyway, it's this piece of trash. This has just been sitting on my kitchen table underneath some other washing, so it could do with a press. But this is the Mimi blouse by Tilly and the Buttons from her book Love at First Stitch, from some mystery silk or polyester from Marrickville. I really wanted something with a Chelsea collar, and this is the only pattern that I have with a Chelsea collar. Yes, I know I could just draft my own Chelsea collar onto any other blouse that I have, but I didn't want to. So I made this. The fit of this is terrible. The shoulders are really strangely short. There's all of this additional bulk under the armpits. This sleeve facing is interfaced, and then you stitch it on, and then you fold it up and you hand stitch it in place. I mean, it's quite nice, but it's just so rigid. But the buttons were from my stash. The fabric was from my stash. It's just not the right shape for my body. And that's okay. Not every pattern I make is going to be a winner. This one would be donated because it's not terribly made. It's quite well made. You can't tell because it's not pressed. Well, it was pressed and then I just left it on my kitchen table, but the whole thing's got French seams. This is all fully enclosed. This is the facing. The sleeve facing was hand stitched. Even the back yoke, that's also fully enclosed. I tacked down the facing into the yoke on the front, so it all wants to stay nice and flat. I really needed a blouse like that. A collared blouse that's not really high. I wanted it to be lower cut. I wanted the Chelsea collar. I wanted a bit of arm froof. That would have been perfect had it been good. But it doesn't fit, so that's okay. Off to charity it goes. I mean, I crochet and I knit for charity, so why can't I sew for charity? You know? That's the end of everything that I made this month. So let us do a tally. I purchased in 650 grams. Some of it I'm still working on. Right? Look at this. So this actually needs 4 balls of yarn. It's a bit of a hungry pattern, but it's cool. 650 grams in, and I worked out 329, which is plus into stash 321 grams, which is a total of 6.42 balls of yarn. I think if I could have finished this in this month, in October, which is really what I wanted to do, I would have been in a much better position. But as you can see, this cowl is not finished. Drat. That's where we're at. That's the end of the month of October. Look, it could have been worse. Being able to purchase and then immediately work out this 200 gram, just bought the cake because I needed to spend that money at Spotlights. That was really good. That was a good plan of mine. And these don't take very long at all, actually. All in all, I'm pretty happy with what I've worked up. I've got a bunch of socks where I've just got one of them and I need to knit the other pair. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be able to really work through some of my sock yarns and get them sorted. Maybe I should put the beanie on as a beanie. It's going to ruin my fringe. There we go. What I really need to do is knit some bigger projects and finish some bigger projects for myself. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I feel like I say that at the end of every stash busting month. My thoughts for next year are I definitely need to keep doing this, keep tracking what I'm doing, how many grams out, because it really does motivate me to finish a project instead of putting it into a bag and then leaving it in a bag. How's your stash busting going? Have you just given up and started to go back and buy beautiful yarns? Because if you have, that's fair enough. And if you've got any words of support, encouragement, inspiration that you can leave me in the comments about trying to knit for myself and knit some bigger projects for myself, I would be so appreciative, because I just keep reaching for smaller projects. And that's not helping me get through those sweater quantities. So I'd really love a bit of a positive push if you can do it. Apart from that, I hope you have a smashing rest of the day. Make sure you get your knitting done, get your crochet out, do a gauge swatch just in case. You don't want to commit all of that time and then have to frog it back, you know? That would be a shame. So, see you next time. I've come into the kitchen light. I don't think it's any better. When I tuck it in, it just kind of shows you where all of the issues are. I mean, it's not made terribly. It just doesn't fit me in all of the spots. Like, it's obviously too short here, which is why I'm just too broad in the shoulders for this pattern. And this is like a size or two up than my bust measurements because I'm so broad through here. So this is all I've got. I'll still finish it, but